Hello, hello, hello. And to a greater extent,
that I care about. I think it's
hello.
hi.
Hello.
Came in halfway through a sentence there. No idea what it was.
Yeah, the dryer just dinged and went off, but you know what? It can stay in there. I'll get it out once stream's done.
Yeah, that's fair. And staying there, staying warm and cozy. Yeah. How are we all doing? Even though I just asked that.
Great.
So you try and do something for the
pretty
camera. It's like on those shows where they're like, oh, somebody's going to go up to the door and they're going to knock and go into the building, and then there's already a cameraman inside, and it's like, you've already met today. Why are you pretending in front of the camera?
Oh,
anyway.
hi. Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah. So that's a great start. Let's get on with doodles. Let's do doodles. Where is
Doodles?
Doodles. Is that the one? That's the one. There we are. I drew the character from what's it called? Neverhood. The main character of the game that the music I just played was from. That's because it's the first thing I've drawn. And we also have some good dogs and cat. Legas. Legas.
Yes, Legas.
What was that from?
Christi has not drawn anything.
What was Legas from?
Legas? I don't know. Actually, it might just be something that's just been sort of absorbed into my understanding of how language works, so it doesn't.
That's fair. Probably something that once had a fixed origin and is now lost to the internet.
Or just lost in general, kind of like how it's like, you're a real Nimrod. And now everyone thinks that means idiot, even though that was a sarcastic way of saying, oh yes, you great hunter, you.
What? Didn't know that.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things from Looney Tunes that just sort of came into our cultural understanding, and it's like, oh no. Like the carrot thing, apparently that's a reference to an actor of the time, where that was a weird tick he'd do in some of the well-known movies he was in. But everyone else was just kind of like, oh, rabbit, carrot, vegetable, makes sense. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like a stand-in for a cigar, I thought, that was my guess.
Well, and that might be what it was for like the actor that it's in reference to. I don't know enough about the gentleman's work, but no, Bugs Bunny is explicitly, well, not so explicitly these days because nobody recognizes reference, but at the time it was like, yes, this is a funny pop culture reference, and now everyone just associates it with Bugs Bunny.
Well, that's culture for you. It references decay into original work when the thing it's in reference to decays faster. It's like how many people have heard of Yogi Bear, and how many people have heard of Yogi Berra? Like, his name's a pun.
Yogi what now?
Yogi Berra, who was a baseball player, I think.
Oh.
That's why Yogi Bear is called Yogi Bear, because of someone called Yogi Berra. Anyway, just to assuage fears, I have actually tried the Looney Tunes wiki. It's not very good for this format.
Damn.
But I do actually have 6 written down here and a D6, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing today.
So are you randomly selecting wikis and then randomly selecting from the wiki? Or are you randomly selecting the wiki first and then pulling everything from the same?
Oh, no, we're just going to do one of them. Okay. But I will randomly choose the one. Now, by rolling the thing. 4, what's that? Cool. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Nice.
Oh, there's gonna be cursed stuff.
Yeah.
That show freaked me out so much as a kid because the art style just grated on me, and I was like, I do not like this.
The sound as well. Ugh.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, it did a very good job.
Yeah.
And watching it again as an adult. Yeah, well, and like watching it again as an adult, it was just kind of like, Little me had bad taste. This is amazing. But Little me was just kind of like, no, I want nothing to do with this.
It evoked a reaction, which is more than quite a lot of cartoons from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, basically, I went on a hunt, a safari through the wikis of all the cartoons I watched as a kid. So I've got quite a few of those. Disappointed to see that the Ed, Edd and Eddie one's not very good, but hey,
Aww.
what you gonna do? So what have we all got? I now have Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I went self-indulgent and chose The Witcher.
Ooh, some fantasy fun.
So that means we're going to get some fantasy monsters or just a dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm probably going to draw something in a tub. That's what I know of The Witcher.
Great.
I mean, yeah, that is a thing that happens. It's a pretty good book series, though. Anyway, so I have the Kamen Rider wiki, which is another one of those mass superhero shows that started in like the 70s, I think, and has just kept going. Sort of on the same vein as the Super Sentai series, except usually there's only like a couple of protagonists, not like an explicit team set up. And so Kamen Rider, I believe, means masked rider. And one of the reoccurring design themes is that a lot of the heroes have a bug theme and they ride motorbikes.
Nice. Oh, don't delete the dog.
Nice. It was just a doodle.
Yeah, but it's a cute doodle. And you have layers. You can do what you want. Just go lip. Hey! Aw. Right, cool. By the way, if anyone's wondering, Chibi is not feeling well today, so it's the three of us, which means my rota is out of the window. So who wants to go first? Also, Chibi usually goes first, so
yeah.
I'll go first. Why not? I always ask other people. Let's go first myself for once. Let's say, I don't know. Christi's even Ragdoll odd. Ragdoll.
Yes.
I rolled the d6 again. Yeah, I'll get a prompt from you from Kamen Rider or whatever it may be.
All right, let's see. Roll the random.
Good. That's a good sound.
I'm not going to give you this one, but it's funny that it came up. So the thing that came up is an item called an unidentified life form suppressing special gas bomb, and the picture is literally a picture that says no picture available.
Wonderful.
So it's so unidentified they don't have a picture for it, and that's funny.
That's great. I could draw that. Hopes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's hit. Let's hit again.
Yeah, something with a picture would be.
Ooh. Okay. Chris, you are lucky. You do not get a bug. Oh. Yeah, something with a picture would be good. So you get someone who is not a bug. Yuki Shiari, who was transformed into a monster called Yeti Megid.
Yugi Yeti?
Yeti something? Yeti?
Yeti Megid. Megid. Megid are sort of the monsters in this particular incarnation. So this is from Kamen Rider Saber.
Okay, that just makes me think
unlike
of
other Megid, the Yeti Megid was created from a specially created blank alter ride book being embedded in the human. Over time, the person's life force is used to develop the alter rider book, and when it is completed, the host will disappear. However, if the alter rider book is immediately destroyed after its completion, the human and Megid will be separated, allowing the Megid to be safely defeated.
Is this Riven?
I don't know. I just heard Yeti. So also Megid. Megid reminds me of Megiddo, which is, if I recall, where the final battle takes place in the Bible, which is where we get the word Armageddon from. Har Megiddo is the original. At Megiddo, from Megiddo.
I mean, that might be a reference to it. Japan has this tendency to just pull random words and be like, yeah, that sounds cool, and run with it. Sort of similar to what we do with Japanese words.
So
so this is a human who was turned into a monster. which is sort of a staple with the Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, good old monster of the week.
Also, I don't know what the reference is for rider, but I immediately thought of this riding a tricycle, so that's what I'm doing.
I think it was motorcycles.
Yes, the
It can be a motorized
majority of the heroes ride motorcycles because that's cool.
I technically have a motorized tricycle.
tricycle. Ooh,
It's
nice.
just an electric bike with 3 wheels.
That's more
So-
stable.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 points of contact. 3
I've-
points make a plane.
Really not worked out how to draw a Yeti. Should have done this beforehand. This is just a big hairy man. How many
it's not
times have I
like-
drawn a big hairy man in these wiki?
I like this one. Big old
I mean, it's
snores
not like
and
you
eyebrows.
knew. It's not like you knew you were going to get a Yeti. I didn't even know you were going to get a Yeti. Because
That's
the
fair.
first thing you got was identified, unidentified.
Yeah.
So unidentified, it didn't have a picture.
I'm waiting for us to get I can't remember what number it is when we do the SCP wiki, which I think we should do as a special where we all have that.
Yay.
I'm waiting for one of us to get the thing that can't be described. And any description of it just sort of vanishes. Because then you could just sort of draw anything, then delete it, and then we'll just forget.
Polar bear in a snowstorm eating marshmallows.
I think the sort of conclusion of that one is basically they're starting to learn how to describe it by describing what it isn't. Because that information stays there. So they're like, okay, cool. It isn't a sphere. Got it. Cool. That's good. What isn't a sphere? I don't know.
Sounds like me talking. Just an everyday conversation. What we're talking about? I don't know.
Seem to remember that article begins with, "Do not be alarmed that you have forgotten that this article exists."
Nice.
Moving quickly. I have.
Is this Yeti perchance biking around a hotel on the top of a mountain?
Is this in reference to Over the
I
Alps?
mean, could be.
To The Shining.
Oh right, okay. I thought it was a reference to the statue of the child eater from Over the Alps playthrough. Big bear that eats children. 20 questions, but super intense. Yeah. It's 20 questions, but by the time you've got to question 3, you've forgotten question 1. Which, to be fair, is most of my attempts at doing 20 questions.
Oh, look at those feetsies.
This is just how I draw feet.
I'm just.
Do not question how these pedals work.
Yeah, those pedals are going to be so awkward because with how low this is to the ground, on account of the fact that it's a very tiny tricycle.
Also, how is he sitting on
are just
this?
going to be like.
Don't make sense of this picture. It's fine. No, that's chat.
Yeah,
Go
I was just going to assume it was just like a really long tricycle.
just so hang on.
One of those tricycles with like a little bag holder at the end. He's sitting on that, not on the seat.
Oh, I see. So like, here's the back wheels, and then it's just a big basket or something.
Yeah.
This is
Aww.
absolutely not balanced. Like he's gonna topple backwards.
It's a strong bike.
3 points of contact.
Yeah.
We're fine. We are immune from gravity. Also, tiny hands, which makes a change from my normal drawings. Big arms, tiny hands.
It's dainty.
Yeah, again, just lots of beards. I draw lots of beards on this. I don't know why.
I mean, would you have rather had a bug?
Knowing me, I can draw a beard on a bug. This is a huge head. Look at this. This is no proportions here at all. It's just.
Oh.
Oh, that's better.
I'll work it out.
I did like the huge head, but yeah, that's better.
Yeah, make it so that there's like an actual neck somewhere in there. Although,
I mean, it turned into a monster. We don't need a
yeah.
neck.
With a mullet.
That's true.
Emule.
Mullet monster.
A bit more flowing than raggedy.
Oh, now he's
Vaguely
real
looks like
dainty.
something that would. This vaguely looks like something that would show up on the Muppets.
It does, rather, doesn't it? Yeah, I could draw a
turning
Muppet
quite
version of
cute.
this.
Just one of those.
I was just removing some smudge from my screen.
That's fair.
But yeah, this is one of those Muppets with the actual person inside of it. So that's why the head is so big, and then the hands are like, wait a minute. Shoom.
Boom. I guess I'm done.
He must be going downhill if he's able to get any.
All right, so I have
the very powerful legs. Right, let's see what this is supposed to look like. I'm sure I'm about 95% of the way there.
So there's two pictures I'm going to show you. One is Monster itself.
That is just the Yeti.
That is. It looks more Yeti than mine. That's interesting. It's got a book on his chest.
There is, the book being used to.
Oh yeah, you said you
rewrite this young love lady into a monster.
What a transformation!
What?
They seem nice.
Yeah, that's sort of what happens in these series. Oh, this is a normal person. Now let's put them in a rubber suit.
I didn't know it was live action.
Oh, yeah. Oops says that's a damn Power Ranger villain. Yep, we're on track.
I mean, yeah, they said. God, I think they even came up around the same time, and I want to say that the first Super Sentai and the first Kamen Riders were more or less being made out of the same production company.
the same costume shop.
Yeah, at the very least. But yeah, there's some similarities in design there, and then the fact that both of them are essentially superpowered soap operas for kids. So
that's
what a pitch. That's an amazing pitch.
I mean, it's not wrong. If you look at the storylines for them, it's just kind of like, what the heck is even going on here? What's all this dramatic nonsense?
Yeah.
Superpowered soap operas for kids. Love it.
I like these ad bones.
Yeah. It's an interesting design. It's in those sort of cool fur gauntlets.
Yeah, and then the weird top, whatever's going on with the top of the head there.
Yeah.
Looks like they've got a top knot ponytail-y thing, and it's just sort of coming down.
Ah, that makes more sense. I just thought the forehead got big.
All right.
Okay, cool. Let's go forwards and say it's now Ragdoll's time to draw with Christie's prompt. So let's get rid of the Yeti. Flip. What was yours? It was the Witcher, wasn't it? Yes.
Witcher. Yes. Now I've already got one prepared because there's a lot of shit from the games to randomly get just a crumpled note. So
yeah, that happens. The first one I brought up earlier was Moonlighter, because I was like, oh, there's some neat monsters in there, and then I remembered Moonlighter is an item collection selling game as well as a roguelike, so the first 16 pages I got were all items, and it's like, nope, never mind, we're not doing this one.
Yeah.
I think those are the things that people actually go to the wiki for.
Yeah, I can do a little bit of re-rolling, but not that much re-rolling.
Yeah.
You got Francesca Finderbar, known as Daisy of the Valleys. She is an elf, sorceress, and queen, later duchess. She's one of the founding members of the Lodge of Sorceresses, And what else? There was something else interesting. Affiliation with the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, Lodge of Sorceresses.
A lot of sorcery.
Right. A lot of sorcering and queen, and known as the most beautiful woman in the world, and is an elf, and has dark gold hair, blue eyes, and that's it.
Sorry, when you said sorcering and queen, I thought you said sorcerer of cream. I was confused. Yeah, so just draw the most beautiful person in the world. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I will endeavor
sorcerer's queen.
Yeah, she's also a cat.
Yeah, we'll just draw a little puddle here with a little cat. Cream.
Yeah, a puddle of cream.
Yum.
I'm happy. Okay, we'll leave that there because that's funny.
She can have a pet. It's fine.
She'd probably have a cat.
Yeah, if you have a cat and you're a sorcerer and you don't magic up cream for the cat, what are you doing?
Then you're neglecting your cat.
About this is I know enough about the Witcher series to know that the original Witcher books were written by a gentleman who's from I don't remember exactly
Poland.
what country. Eastern Europe, yeah, Poland. I knew it was somewhere on the east side. And there's a lot of racism allegories in the book series, and basically it's like, hey, by the way, this is bad and sucks.
Yep.
And the elves in that series, for the most part, are second-class citizens, along with a couple of other magical races like dwarves and whatnot.
Yep. So, anything else than humans, basically.
Are you implying that somebody would use a fantasy setting as an allegory for real-world situation? Because that seems absurd. Le gasp.
Yeah, no one ever does that, ever.
Next you'll be telling me they're doing it in sci-fi. Which, let's face it,
how strange.
Question. Here's an interesting, I think it's an interesting question. Star Wars, fantasy or sci-fi?
Wizards in space.
Yeah, it's essentially the original series is essentially just wizards, hero journey wizards in space, and then you've got stuff like the Mandalorian, which is just kind of like this is just a noodle western in space.
Noodle western?
Not noodle western.
Spaghetti western. Yeah. No, I want to watch a noodle western. That sounds great.
I thought it sounded cute.
I was in the right ballpark.
Yeah.
I was in the right ballpark. I just hit the wrong spot.
I love it.
Give them a glowing cloak thing.
The wrong region of carbs.
So, given that I think the best... this is going to be dangerous, me saying this with Oobs in chat, but given that generally speaking the best received things from Star Wars were the original films and The Mandalorian, which are basically what if fantasy in space and what if western in space, what other things would be interesting to put in space? What other sort of classic... Like, could you do like a gothic horror in space?
Ooh, noir.
Noir? That would be good.
Yeah.
Star Wars noir.
Amazing.
And Clone Wars,
I mean, horror in space has been done a couple of times, so that's where you've got your Alien and whatnot.
Aliens.
I mean, I guess Alien's just like... I guess that is like Haunted House, but it's a spaceship, not a house.
Yeah.
Haunted house in space, and you cannot leave, which makes it worse, because at least in a haunted house, in theory, you can leave.
You have to come up with a contrived reason you can't. Yeah. Oh no, the windows are barred shut and I can't open the doors. In space, it's like, why would you want to try and get out?
Are those windows shut?
If the windows aren't shut on your spaceship, you've got a problem. I've always said the basic soap operas in Clone Wars era on Coruscant would be really funny. See, again, more soap operas. More... What was it? High intensity soap operas for kids?
I think the prequel movies were trying to be like political intrigue soap opera thing,
The
but
second one felt like that.
it doesn't help that one, they cut out some of the political stuff. So it's like, okay, so the thing that you were sort of trying to do we removed. There's this one really great scene with Padme dealing with what's going on with the Senate. They cut it from the movie, and it's like, what the heck? Decisions were made; they were bad ones. But then also, it's kind of one of those things of like, political intrigue is hard when you know what's going to happen at the end.
That's fair, yeah.
Because the thing with prequels is like you always have to be. It's always you always have to be a little careful because you're introducing all of these interesting characters, and you sit there and go, yes, but I know what happens afterwards, and none of these characters are there.
Yeah.
So we know it's going to end.
I'm not going to get attached because this person's gonna die.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oops, saying that's why the Clone Wars are so great. Maybe one day, I will get around to watching. Actually, to be honest, I should probably watch one of the films in their entirety. I think I've just seen bits of all of them. But
even the originals?
I think I might have seen all of the first one. Maybe.
The first ones are so good. Well, except for the last one. In my opinion.
I've heard it's not when things start going downhill, but it's when things start going, okay, then they don't really have an awful lot of ideas for this world. So bring on the Muppets.
I was just thinking, it's a forest with Muppets.
It's a forest with Muppets. Oops thinks the original trilogy is pretty boring.
Well, I haven't watched them since I was a kid, so.
Well, I think the best era of Doctor Who was Stephen Moffat, so take that. Sorry, I just wanted an excuse to say Moffat around Oobs.
I would say at the very least the original trilogy is a lot simpler in storyline. Again, because they're not trying to go for political intrigue. Yeah, now you're getting knifed by Oobs. And so I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a simpler storyline, especially if you're doing something that's essentially just hero's journey but in space.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think I must have seen all of the first one because I remember thinking that the jump from like the second to the third act felt really quick. I thought there was a lot more in between, like getting off the Death Star and going back and blowing it up. Spoilers. It's just really quick. It's like, most of the film is just before all that. Weird.
Yeah, and then of course you've got the problem that the Star Wars movies have, where you've got that long trail thing where it's just kind of like, okay, now you've just explained the entire plot of another movie that we never got to see because you just put it as a description. It's the start of this movie.
Yeah.
Why?
You say they think they're good movies, but you think they're gassed up in a way that doesn't always make sense. I don't know what gassed up, but are they woozy, like anesthetized? Or do you mean like hyped?
I will say that I do agree that the original trilogy gets sort of overhyped by fanboys. Yeah. That's just something you're going to deal with whenever you've got people who like
nostalgia.
Nostalgia, or also they've just sort of absorbed bits of it. You see it with the original Star Trek as well. People will say things about like the original Star Trek is like, oh, da, 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 da. Like the whole concept of like the Captain Kirk type character with like the suave lady killer, nothing like the original Kirk. And it's just sort of funny to see that happen, where it's just kind of like, and I mean, you got the same thing with the original Star Wars as well. The whole idea of like Han, the lady killer, and it's like, no, he's mostly just an idiot.
Yeah, he's just annoying and rude.
He kind of just wanted to get on his own, really. It's less of a lady killer and more of a, like, I'll kill this lady
Leave
just to
me
get on with the
alone.
job. Like, yeah. I just wanted the quick job of getting this person from here to here so I can make money. Is that alright? I want to smuggle some stuff. It's just me and my big dog. Leave me be.
Oh, me and my doggo in space.
Yeah. It's one man and his dog. That's what they should have called the solo origin story film.
Yeah, I never saw that. I saw the like pre-Disney new ones of the 2000s and what prequels
Prequels, yes.
As a kid as well, and didn't really like them, and then I haven't seen anything since because I just have such fond memories of the original ones.
That's fair.
I've always fallen asleep to the TV in my bedroom, and in the 90s that was VHS tapes, and I had Star Wars and a couple of cartoons, so I just watched Star Wars every single night.
That's fair. I used to do that with Red Dwarf, actually, which is a weird thing to do. Like, let's try and get to sleep with some sounds. I'll have something with a laugh track. That's just an odd thing to do. Also, apologies if you can hear banging. By the sounds of it, there are two pigeons on my roof fighting. Hi, Kiro. How you doing? They don't sound big enough to be seagulls, so I'm going to assume they're pigeons.
A science fiction sitcom.
Yeah, Red Dwarf.
With laugh track.
Oh, Red Dwarf wiki. Why haven't I bothered looking that up?
Ideas.
There's loads of cool monsters in Red Dwarf. Do you have a wiki? Probably not. And if you do, it's probably not very good. Fighting, yeah, exactly. Yes, kids, they're fighting. Don't bother looking. Okay, there is a wiki. It's got 1,000 pages, apparently. I don't know how.
Maybe they've got another page for like every single actor, because I've noticed that with some of the things. Because that's one of the things that pops up with both the Super Sentai and the Kamen Rider wiki, is that some of the pages are the actors.
Yeah.
Who play the characters.
That was one of the things with Looney Tunes. I got a lot of voice actors. Oh, a white hole. Sorry, that's a reference if anyone watches Red Dwarf. I just got a white hole. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. A black hole sucks time and matter out of the universe. A white hole returns it. Etc., etc. I won't do the whole thing. Every now and then people like recite scenes from comedies and it's just annoying. I could do it with that scene, but if you've watched the scene, you know why I can do it with that scene. Every line is said at least twice.
Yay.
But there's a reason. It's part of the story. Yeah. I'm liking this sorcerer. Is that a floating avocado? What's?
Well, it's supposed to be like a fireball, but if I'm only working in this like reddish color.
Yeah, it's difficult to do fire in red, isn't it? Sorry, that was unnecessarily sarcastic.
I really like the key.
I mean, you're right, because most fires. I mean, technically, fires are like
orange.
It's depending on what you're burning. But
True,
if you're burning like just wood, usually wood fires are more of an orangey yellow color. And then if you start burning metals, that's when all the weird colors start happening.
Yeah.
The pretty blues?
Yes. So that's...
the first thing anyone remembers from chemistry in high school.
No.
The only thing I remember for chemistry in high school, because I... what's it called? When you ditch a class?
Drop out?
No.
So you're enrolled in the class, but you skipped that day. So usually we call it skipping class.
Oh, thank you. I skipped class in chemistry for the rest of school. So pretty much.
Yeah, see, one of my one of the gentlemen with the office right next to mine is one of our chemists, so I get to hear him helping his students and chat with him about some of the stuff he's done or doing in class. So one of the things he's done in one of the, I want to say it was the general chemistry lab. So one of the things that you have to do in chemistry is not only be like, oh, we've got this thing, but you have to sort of figure out like what's in it. If you like you're given a thing and you're not told what's in it, you have to figure it out. In fact, that's what you're doing most of the time as a chemist. You don't know what's in this solution, better figure it out. So he gives them just a whole bunch of random bottles of stuff where it's like, okay, so here's the things that are definitely not in it. Run some tests to try and figure out what it is. And it's just a whole bunch of random stuff. Like one of them was literally water with blue food coloring in
Yeah.
it. And another one was tap water with rust scraped from the faucet mixed in it.
Mm.
And apparently he's driven multiple students just a little crazy with those.
Sounds fun.
They see like the blue food coloring and it's like, oh, there's, I don't remember what element it is, but there's an element ion where basically it's known for making that bright blue color. That's why they use it in fireworks for blue fireworks. But it's not that. It's just blue food coloring. And
cobalt?
Drives. That sounds right. So yeah, it's got some stuff in it. No, those lines do not make that well.
Anyway, I can report that while there are a lot of pages on the Red Dwarf wiki that aren't great, I'm happy to click through enough to get to the good ones because they're a good one. So that's on my list. Can't wait for somebody to draw the despair squid. That would be great.
So another Eldritch horror.
Actually, it'd be difficult to do the despair squid because I don't think there's a picture of it. I think the only description of it in the episode is, what's the line? I don't mean to alarm you, but there's a blip on the scanner scope the size of New Mexico and it's heading straight towards us. So it's a big friend.
Yeah, that's pretty big because New Mexico is very big.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it usually only takes up like a page in most state roadmap books because there's not a lot of maps there. There are not a lot of maps. There's not a lot of roads there.
No, there's state law. There's only 10 maps allowed in the entire.
But yeah, it's sort of funny. So my mom's from New York, and New York is pretty dense with roads, partially because it's been a state for a while. But my dad's from New Mexico, and so the first time they were going to visit my grandparents in New Mexico, my mother took a look at the road map and went, "Oh, this shouldn't take very long. It's only got one map in here." And New York's got like 2 or 3, depending on how detailed they want it. And then she was wrong. It took a very long time to drive down there because New Mexico is not the biggest state, but it is. It's like if you go from east to west, the states just keep getting bigger.
Right. Good to know.
Okay, so I'm not gonna bother drawing her face because honestly, I sort of like this mysterious face with no features.
It's kind of a Zelda.
It's interesting.
It's a stylistic choice. That's what we'll say.
So this is Francesca.
Ooh. There's a bit of a motif going on here.
No,
may
know
or
what's
may
up
not
with the
involve
snakes. Snakes aren't mentioned anywhere, but
definitely
maybe
a Slytherin.
Just Slytherin.
She looks like Jenna Coleman.
And she's got her hair all tied up where I've got hers like all loose and flowing.
Yeah, she's got a bit of a layer thing going on.
She's like an onion.
Yeah, I've at least got the fact that she's like a shawly cape thing on top of a nice dress.
I could see this. You've got the bust line pretty much, right? It's just a different angle and a different hairstyle.
I really like how
the hands hair
oil painty.
It's nice. It's annoying. Keep looking at that and going, how did they do it? I want to do
lots of time and lots of effort.
Yeah, how dare they? Cool.
And make all hands look like child hands.
But it's better than my hands, because the hands on the things I'm drawing at the moment look like sausages.
She's got really thin wrists too. Like her whole wrist and forearm area. I don't know if it's just the angle that we're looking at, but that looks really skinny.
Yeah, it does.
Have you ever seen, like, because whenever you see, like, wizards and sorcerers and things like that, they're always very slim. Like, have you seen, like, a bulky wizard?
No.
There's an idea.
Technically, yes, but that's because... So, the main ones I can think of off the top of my head that I've seen are mainly characters where it's just kind of like... It's an RPG type thing, so you can make the physical body whatever.
Right, yeah.
With Dragon Age 2, the your main character can either be a lady or a dude, and for whatever reason, on all of the promotional material, Lady Hawk is typically a warrior of some kind, and Dude Hawk is typically a mage. And Dude, yeah. So
Yes.
the dude version of Hawk is buff. He's a big gentleman, unless you change him. Yeah, his default form, usually called Garrett, is a big guy, and it's like, oh, it's a warrior dude. Oh, nope, he's throwing fireballs. Never mind.
That's nice. Right, cool. So I guess now it's Christie's turn, and I will generate something from the Cowardly Dog wiki. What have we got going on? We have... sure, that works. We have Space Chicken's son.
Space Chicken son.
Space Chicken's son.
So the son of the space chicken.
Kind of. I'm not... Sons? I would say sons. No, I don't know. Space Chicken's son is a 3-headed alien chicken. From outer space. I guess that comes from the word alien. Yeah, it's a 3-headed chicken. That's pretty much where we're going with this. They carry a ray gun and a camera.
Not drawing
As you
either
do.
of those.
That's fine. Things getting scratchy.
Just draw a chicken and then add 2 more heads onto it.
Yeah, the left head wears big glasses and has a kind of side parting sort of hairstyle. The middle head has big old teeth and I don't know, is looking in multiple directions. And the right head looks like the the leader of the gang. It's like, I know what I'm doing. You could probably find a whole bunch of...
Considering this is Courage the Cowardly Dog, I have a feeling the leader head does not know what they're doing.
Oh, almost certainly not.
Oh, no, that's a turkey.
I mean, you're not far off, honestly. It's pretty good. Yeah, there's not an awful lot else to say here. I quite like their story, apparently, which is that Courage accidentally killed their father, which is why they're the son of Space Chicken. And so they're sent to kill Courage, but they feel bad, so they just spend the whole time trying to work out how to make it look like they did without actually doing it. Seems quite nice.
That sounds way cuter than any Courage the Cowardly Dog I can remember.
Yeah. It's not a weird surrealist tragedy.
Though I still say my favorite is the lesbian fox and rabbit. I think it was a rabbit. Is that a cat?
There's Cats, who I believe is a cat.
Oh, it was the cat that was scary then. I remember the name Cat.
You're a bit muffled now, Christy, by the way. I don't know why.
Oh, I might be holding my hand over the mic.
That's fine.
The middle one just looked confident?
No. They look bemused.
Oh.
They look like they're absolutely off in their own world.
they're out of this world.
They are. Then they're thinking about their homeworld. Yeah, according to this, they have neutral, non-styled hair. As you do. Oh, that's nice. Under enemies, it lists courage, in brackets, former, and under friends, it lists courage.
Aww.
Yeah, it made friends. This seems far too wholesome for Courage the Cowardly Dog.
It really does.
I'm sure it mainly just ended up that way. I'm sure the episode as a whole is just sort of like, oh no.
I'm sure weird things happen. That's a given.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we started with a 3-headed chicken from space who Courage killed the dad of, so you know.
True, yeah. I mean,
we're already a little out there with this plot line.
yeah, it's weird. This wiki goes between referring to them as a he and a they, and it's like apparently they have different personalities, the heads, but they're also referred to as a single entity. I'm confused by this thing. They are Legion.
What was the right one?
The sort of the one who knows what they're doing, and they're like, I know what I'm doing. Kind of sort of thing. Was it dominant, focus-driven, with a slicked-back hairstyle? I wouldn't describe that as slicked-back, but sure, why not? Yeah, I mean, you're doing pretty well.
That doesn't sound right, but...
No, I'm just... Good, yeah. I guess one of the great things about doing...
we're going for acts here anyway.
Oh, no, not at all. But one of the great things about doing cartoons is they tend to be quite simple. As opposed to whatever Kamen Rider is.
Because they have to draw it over and over again, unlike with Kamen Rider where they can just kind of go, right, one rubber suit, now we're done.
Yeah, I guess are we losing that with the advent of sort of 3D animation taking over? Because once you've made a 3D model, you can just keep using it. It does take a lot to make it, but once you've made it, it's there. With 2D animation, it doesn't matter how many times you've drawn the thing, you got to draw it again.
No, I mean, I know, and I don't remember which generation this is, because I know after a certain point they just sort of apparently ignored that idea. I know there was one generation of Pokemon where essentially they were like, okay, part of the reason behind these designs is we want to make these simple so that kids can draw them, and that's just something where it's like, okay, now that we've made the sprites, they're just done. We're done. But also that's a little odd to have an example of, because Pokemon does still have a 2D animated anime. So again, you still have the problem of, regardless of how simple the design is, you have to keep drawing it.
Yeah.
This keeps looking like a weird nose.
Oh yeah,
I mean, what is a beak but a weird nose?
Well,
I can't really argue. See, now I'm going to look at birds and I'm going to think, you've got a weird nose. And that feels rude. The Red Dwarf
as long
Wiki...
as you don't tell it has a weird nose.
I was going to say, the Red Dwarf Wiki has, like, twice as many pages as the Courage the Cowardly Dog Wiki, and that doesn't feel right. How many episodes of Courage were there? Oh, I had 4 series. With about 13 episodes each? That makes sense, Courage 13. And each one of those had 2 stories. So, yeah, about sort of 100 episodes. I guess Red Dwarf's had more episodes. That's weird. No, has it? No, that doesn't make sense.
Sorry.
But like 12 series. Ish. Reasons. 6 episodes each. 6, 12, 72. Oh, no, Courage has had more episodes. So you'd think Courage would have more pages, but these things. You know how these things work out.
Yeah, but then you've also got to think about like how complicated are the stories in each of them. Because with the Courage of the Cowardly Dog, usually there's only like a handful of characters in any particular episode, and some of those characters are a reoccurring cast of Courage, Muriel, and Eustace.
Yeah, true. I mean, with Red Dwarf, you got the 4/3 main characters. /4 again. Depends on the series.
I didn't know. What was it? Eustace?
Eustace.
That's quite fun because in Danish, she's still called Muriel, but Eustace is not called Eustace.
Oh, really? What's he called?
That's interesting that they only changed the
he's
name of one.
called Egon.
Egon.
Egon. It's a very
Is that
old school Danish name.
That's probably why, because Eustace is also a really old school name. Like you hear the name Eustace and you don't think, yes, young gentleman, even though if you're an old gentleman at some point in time you were a young gentleman, because that's how linear time works. But it's just not something associated as a young man name. It's just an old man name.
I think I'm done.
Yeah. That's good, Space Chicken.
Yeah.
Space Chicken.
Excellent.
Forgot about the space part.
I
I didn't want to draw either a gun or a camera.
That's fair.
I mean, I didn't draw most of a face, so you're probably good.
Oh, I remember that.
Hang on, I'll make it bigger.
That's a choice for the hangy bits.
Also, I guess it has hands, arms, wings.
I mean, it's an alien.
Yeah, I
so...
just assumed the wings were on the side, like chickens.
Yeah, like chickens.
Side. Not
It
flapping.
would be very hard for it to hold a gun if it didn't have hands, though.
True.
Yeah.
It has the camera around its neck. It can just sort of peck at the button, I guess, when it wants to. Yeah, that was good. That's almost. I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the most accurate one we've had.
And from me, whoa.
Wonderful.
I mean, I guess it's because it was a monstrosity already.
No, it's because it was cute. Right. Okay. I guess it's back to me, and I guess I'll be doing The Witcher. You can get your revenge for me giving you a chicken.
This time, it's not from the game; it's from the show.
Okie dokie.
I don't.
Are they in a bath?
I'm gonna try and pronounce this.
Okay.
Sheridan. Sheridan is an elf healer. Who is hopelessly in love with Yennefer, one of the main characters. And always just looks. That sound.
Okay. Cool.
Just
So you have a
dreamingly
love-struck
looking
elf.
into the distance.
That's more devilly than elfy. Elf is.
Oh yeah, he's a healer, but like in a kind of apothecary kind of way.
Okay. I'm still gonna give them a mask. That makes sense.
I mean, you don't want to breathe in the fumes, because apothecary is essentially like the precursor to, a good chunk of chemistry. He's essentially ye old pharmacist, really.
Yay.
Now, granted, you don't usually wear a mask when you're working in the pharmacy, but that's partially because everything's already in like nice little gel and liquid and powder form.
It's the powder that's the scary bit. You wear a
And
mask
also,
for
if we were
powders.
talking like back then, in assumed medieval times, if they used ground up mummies as medicine. I don't think their logic is to be trusted.
I think that's the second time
Look,
we've mentioned
I
ground up
didn't
mummies.
say they were. I didn't say that everything they did was working, but you can say that with like most of medicine. There was a point in time where we still thought that like the uterus legitimately moved around the torso.
Yeah. A wandering room.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think that's the second time we mentioned that as well.
Yeah. Isn't that where something like that we get the word hysterical from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Hysteria was the condition of, hey, your womb is just sort of wandering around in your body, because that's a thing we think happens.
Because that's the thing that doctors used to think, primarily because doctors were exclusively men.
Well, and I mean, it also doesn't help that for the longest time, we didn't really know what the inside of a human body looked like, because dissection of humans was illegal.
Yeah.
Also, like, when people began dissecting humans for, like, scientific and medical purposes, was it all just men as well? So they never learned that the womb wasn't loose?
I mean, if the person's already dead, the organs probably aren't going to be moving. But part of the problem is actually less there's a lot of issues that came up with that. Part of the biggest reason being most early dissections of human corpses were grave-robbed corpses. So usually grave-robbed corpses of the poor, because no one really cared enough to, go after some rich guy digging up graves in the poor graveyard.
Tell that to the Egyptians.
Damn.
Sure there were a lot of post-mortem digging up and dissecting of their dead.
Yep.
True.
Not by them.
But yeah.
Is that a little heart flask?
It is now.
Yay!
This is a love potion.
Cute.
And it's not
that
one of
does
those.
Make sense with character.
It's not one of those weird love potions that makes somebody else love you. It's one of those love potions that accentuates the love you have. It's a platonic aphrodisiac.
So it's beer goggles.
Yeah, it's just beer. That's what it is. It's just a flask of beer. I don't know what fantasy clothes are like, so I don't really. Have I mentioned?
Don't worry, most fantasy doesn't know what fantasy clothes are like either.
I don't really do fantasy. It's not really my thing. This is what I sort of really cemented with the release of the new Elden Ring trailer. Is fantasy doesn't really do anything for me.
Is Dark Souls fantasy?
Yeah. And I know that might seem a little bit weird,
fair.
given that I have a reputation for constantly talking about Dark Souls. But, it still doesn't do anything for me. The only reason I played Dark Souls is because I played Bloodborne first, and Bloodborne's great. Love me some gothic horror. Let's have them.
No, I mean, even if there's like a genre that you're not like into, there's exceptions. I mean, it's not like any genre is a monolith where every single story is the same. You can be like, in general, I don't like fantasy, but this one's pretty good. I like this.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that like takes elements of other things, because I would argue that the Dark Souls series has a lot of various types of horror elements in their storytelling.
Yeah. The thing I think I really liked about the Dark Souls sort of story is, I guess, the beginning and the end. The creation myth of Dark Souls is really interesting because it's quite different. It basically redefines a lot of terms that you thought would be quite concrete, like God and soul and fire. They're all slightly different in this world. Which is what they did with Bloodborne as well. They took the idea of like a werewolf and a witch and Frankenstein and whatever, and just said, "Hey, let's rebuild that from the ground up." And I also like how it ends, which is kind of what Dark Souls 1 is kind of about. The story takes place in the ending, as it were, even though it's the first game. You know, everything's happened. You are now coming along to try and finish it. And Dark Souls 3 obviously is about entropy and just the So I like that side of things.
The universe and all that kind of stuff.
Precisely, I wrote a song about that. The happiest song
I
I've
was
written.
also.
Sorry, what?
I was also just curious because I didn't really know what category Dark Souls would fall into.
It's dark fantasy.
Because it is fantasy-y, but
it's definitely dark fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does pull some like high fantasy elements, but yeah, it's definitely more in the dark fantasy, horror fantasy type thing.
It's got, you know, dragons and wizards and castles and all that sort of thing. But it does also have the gaping dragon and
I completely understand that. Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who enjoys fantasy stories of various types, but there's a lot of like high fantasy stuff that I just don't touch because I'm sitting here going, "You're trying to go for a lot of political intrigue, and this is now boring and dumb. I'm going to leave now." That's actually, God, I want to say that's why I stopped reading the Aragon books, because basically I got into the second one and it's like, nope. We've gone from interesting hero's journey to political intrigue shenanigans, and I'm a little done.
Anyway, they're carrying a stack of love letters, undelivered, because you can never you can never deliver love letters. You write them and go, "Oh, I will deliver this," and then you get scared. I've also drawn this weirdly in a corner. Fix that.
I mean, if you put it in the corner, it might actually show up once we put everything on top of each other.
True, that is good, but I'll put it there.
Nope.
Also, that means when I reveal the actual picture, I'll have space for it on screen, so that's good. Right, yeah, I think that's fine. I can't even remember this character's name, but they are a love apothecary.
Chiridian. Or whatever.
Who's in love with Yennefer, who is one of the... God.
One of the gods.
Yennefer is a character.
Love with a god.
Well, Yennefer is a sorceress, and she's a reoccurring character in both the books, the TV show, and at least one of the games. I want to say she only shows up by the time they get to
the only one.
She's a recurring character in one of the games.
Yeah, well...
Sorry, that's maybe not.
The games are technically an extension of what happened like from the ending of the books, which is weird for spoilerly reasons. That word didn't come out right.
Spoilery.
Yeah. Actually, I'd say in the TV show, she's not so much a reoccurring character as one of the main characters. But yeah.
This is a boring TV show version.
I mean, but it does look smitten.
And yeah. That's definitely a pining look. Yeah. He is very bald.
That's a different character.
That's some game.
Stop doing that. Things. Professional streams. Okay, right. Well, I have significantly more hair added to mine than that.
But he's cuter.
God, the second picture just is reminding me of a character from the Dragon Age games who is also a bald elf dude carrying a stick covered in furs.
Sticks and furs.
Oh well.
They break my spurs. Right. Well, that's that. That's another draw.
That's another one we could use.
I might
use that one next week.
Ragdoll next, and Ragdoll from me. So let's grab. A new Cowardly Dog character. That's an episode. That's a pile of cannonballs.
I can draw that.
Don't even know why that page exists. Solve the cannonball problem. Okay. Sure. You have raccoons. This is not how I expected this to go. You have raccoons.
So I guess that means I'm the one drawing the furry.
Yeah, there we go. The raccoons, they're a couple of cute raccoon. Well, they don't really look like raccoons, to be honest, but
Well, that's going to be fun. Then draw a raccoon that doesn't look like a raccoon.
They seem mean at first, but they just wanted to have a family, so that's nice.
Aw.
Their names are Hugo and Herman. Yeah, they're just
The raccoon body.
couple of little cute raccoons. Yeah, as for visual appearance, they're sort of quite short, stout, stripy, obviously, as one would expect. Their eyes are slightly different. So, like, one of them has like a small pupil, one of them has a big pupil, something like that. Part of the style. I also have a picture here of them holding weapons, which is nice. One of them has a crossbow, one of them has a giant chain. Don't know why.
Because everything was violent and encouraged the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, I like this face.
Oh. I like that.
He's a little manic at the moment.
That kind of fits the energy.
Yeah. Curse the Cowardly Dog.
I know you said one big pupil and one little pupil, but I just like, okay, let's just not bother with the rest of the eye.
That's
the entire pupil is the eye.
It looks like he's looking to the side.
And it's getting a kind of oh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, a bit of perspective.
That's how I saw it.
That works. Also, because of the direction of the ears, that works with that.
I'm getting Ghibli vibes.
Well, the eyes has got a bit.
But that's also coming from a person who's watched 3 Ghibli movies.
Wonderful. I've watched 0.
Damn.
When we eventually manage to rope Miss to be on one of these, I'm sure the Ghibli Wiki will provide dividends.
The Ghibli Wiggly.
Ghibli Wiki. Yeah,
let's see.
You never know what you're going to get with these wikis, do you? I was really expecting more monstrosities from the Courage Wiki. So I've got a chicken and some raccoons. It's part of the fun. They look cute. I know. Cute.
I want to say raccoons have.
That's a watermelon.
I was going to say it looks a bit like a pumpkin.
Aww.
He's just really tubby.
It's not an entirely dissimilar shape, it must be said. Yeah, there's not a lot of information here. I will say apparently their designs are based on Avery from the cartoon Ace and Avery, which I've never seen.
Never heard of it,
No.
but I haven't heard of a lot of things.
Yeah. They are friends. They are friends with Courage and Muriel, and enemies with Eustace. Sounds about right.
Tracks.
Yeah.
That's most of the things in episodes. I wonder how happy a life Muriel would have if Eustace wasn't there.
Probably like heaven.
Yeah.
Because she's already pretty happy somehow.
She's always quite happy.
And very oblivious. But that's probably too... what do you say? Not 2 peas in a pod. Too two similar things.
Yeah, two peas in a pod. It's two similar things, I guess. I don't know. And the great thing about these raccoons are almost copy pasted, so feel free to copy and paste.
Well, we'll see if we can get that to work.
For a little bit of spice, horizontal flip.
Ooh, can you horizontal flip in this?
Uh,
You might be able to scale.
I don't know how.
You might be able to use the scale feature somehow. I don't know if it locks the horizontal and vertical scales, but yeah, I think I'm probably right in saying that your raccoon looks more like a raccoon than these do. But I'm trying to work out what these look more like wolves, to be honest, little wolf cubs.
I mean, they couldn't have drawn anything cute, so I guess that's why. Although, is Courage cute?
Cute in a kind of, I don't know.
Oh no, they went directly
cute,
on top of each other.
Cute. Oh, that's not good. It's sort of cute in a way of like, in the way people like sort of hairless cats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people find it cute, other people just look at it and go, no. Because there are some things that are just sort of universally cute, and others that are a bit more. You have to work with the cuteness.
Did one of them leave a present?
I thought they were cannonballs, but you never know. I mean, they do have weapons, so maybe they have cannons. Not going to rule out the possibility.
No, that was just the most convenient way to copy them down. Now I have to figure out how to turn that selection off. There we go.
Yeah,
I keep pressing enter to cancel the selection, and that brings up chat. It's just annoying.
Okay. We're going to change around his weapon.
Going to have a spikeless mace.
Also known as a stick.
Oh, I was going to say a club, yeah.
I'll give him...
I do like that format of, a somethingless something, where the thing you're taking out is, the thing that's vital for the definition of that word.
Yeah.
Like an engineless car. What?
The ones that I like are the ones where it's like, this is redundant. So, like, whenever someone says assless chaps, it's like, chaps don't cover the ass anyway. That's... They're meant to protect the legs, and then your middle part, your groin area is left uncovered because you're typically like sitting on something.
Yeah. That's like
so that needs to stay flexible.
It's like one step away from things like, rip in peace and stuff like that.
I was too old when I realized what it meant.
What, rip in peace?
What, assless chaps or rip in peace?
Rest in peace. I thought it was just a word you said.
Oh, rip.
Yep.
No, it's the...
I mean, technically it is, just in a different context.
And I mean, if people say rip to mean RIP, then it is a word. Like, usage is the arbiter of language.
I didn't give these gentlemen...
Oh, right. I didn't even notice he lacked an arm.
No, me neither.
They're little gremlins, so it doesn't matter that the hands are all funky.
Absolutely.
It's a stylistic choice. It's courage. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Everything is sort of weird anyway.
Very weird.
So the quality on this picture's not good enough to even see what their arms look like. They're very, very thin arms. With different line art colour to the rest of the body. I don't know what's going on there.
That's odd.
It's strange.
There we go. Here's a couple of trash pandas. Oh, right.
White trash panda.
Drawing in the mask around their eyes would be awkward because I've already drawn in their eyes as a solid color.
You could like color it all in on a separate layer, and then just erase around the eyes.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll just leave it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or maybe I'll fiddle
Leave
with
it. It's good.
All right, there we go. There's our annoying trash pandas.
Yeah, there they are. Raccoons. Don't know if they had names. Have a look.
Oh.
So there they are.
Oh, they are very round.
Yes. There they are with weapons.
I see what you mean by them just
Yeah.
copy pasting.
That is a puppy nose.
Oh god. I put the nose in the right direction. Good to know.
So there is.
And they are full of teeth.
There be
and
the
shinies
raccoons.
on the noses are different too.
The what on the noses?
The shinies.
Oh yeah.
Highlight.
I guess their eyes are glowing different colors.
Same design, just different colors.
It's such a
Eyes are
weird
different
thing
colors.
to do.
Torso are different colors. I mean, you cut out the time with character design. So it's like, hey, we only have to design one of them. Now this is just a reskin, a recolor.
Yeah. We've somehow managed to get a reskin on something that isn't a game. That's pretty impressive. You know, Disgaea makes sense. Courage the Cowardly Dog? Not what I was expecting. But there we go. It's part of the fun.
Oh my goodness, the pictures in the background. Everything just makes the show so uncomfortable.
There's something about the art style, particularly the backgrounds of Courage.
Well, it doesn't help that it sort of looks like they just they took a picture of an actual forest and just animated a couple of just feral beings on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the chicken picture as well, like that I think is just a photograph of a sky. Like
it doesn't mix well.
It's got that whole sort of strange.
I mean, it works. It
collage.
definitely works with what they were going for. But
yeah.
I can, and like I said, as an adult, I'm just kind of like, oh, this is amazing. I love this style. The child me was just kind of like, I want none of this. Take it away.
I just didn't understand why when I was a kid. Why did you make this look so bad?
To be unsettling.
Yeah.
Which is, sort of the point.
Yeah. And it's sort of the other way around. One of my favourite cartoons when I was a kid was Ed, Edd and Eddy. And when I was a kid, it's just fine. And now looking back on it, the art style is like really rough, like deliberately. It's very sort of sketchy and the line art wobbles and all this sort of thing. It's sort of slightly distracting as an adult. But as a kid, you're like, that's what it looks like.
I loved that it wobbled.
Yeah, it's called Boil, apparently.
Oh.
It used to be an artifact of having to draw every frame manually, but they added that into the show for deliberately, even when people were standing still.
Yeah, and I think that's I know because that's something that I know Jacob does with his Newsday characters. He'll draw them twice with slightly different lines and then just sort of flip back and forth between them, so you've got that wobbly, not quite animation going on there with the still images. And it's neat.
Yeah. It's an easy way to make something look like there's something happening when there's not.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're filming someone, they're not standing perfectly still, so it sort of simulates just slight movements and.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's I mean, and the fun thing is that's not even something people think about, but when you look at it, one of my coworkers in the art department has a specialty in like it's not performance art. I don't remember installation art. And one of the things she did with some of her students 2 years ago is they had it was a really weird theme. I'm not quite sure what they were going for beyond just let's just futz around and see what happens. And one of the things they did is they actually did a time-lapse recording of one of the students. I think the student was standing on one leg, like one of those like yoga pose type things, arms up,
Yeah.
one leg sort of up. And it was a sped up recording of the student standing there for 30 minutes or so. But since it was sped up, you could just sort of see like all of the slight wobblings she's doing to stay balanced there and not move. But even when she's not moving, she's moving. It's just not noticeable until you take that 30 minutes and make it more like 5.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was really neat. Odd, but neat.
Right.
Alright.
Christi needs masked thing. What was it called?
All right. I mean, you're right. Kamen Rider, Masked Rider.
Kamen Rider. That's it. Should have guessed I had Kamen stuck in the.
All right. Let's see. Hopefully we'll get something that's not Let's get something that's not just an unidentified life form. Oh.
I was promised a bug.
Oh. So we are getting a bug now.
Yay!
We are getting a person who is an alien bug. So again, we got another thing. 2 names. The human name is Hirori. Her alias name is Sisra Worm, and worm is a type of alien life in this series.
Is it
So
worm?
Is
it worm with a Y? Worm.
Worm. It's a worm. It's a worm with an O, but they're like these beetle. Okay, so Hirori starts out. I'm going to sort of paraphrase what's going on here because she's sort of a supporting character, so there's a lot here. So she starts out as a supporting character in the series, but later in the series they discover that she is the child of a native worm, which are basically worms that moved to Earth like 30 some odd years ago and just sort of started living her. So a worm impersonated her mother down to her pregnancy and later gave birth to her. So that means that later in the series, she's able to basically awaken her worm nature and
as you do,
become a bug. So let's see. Is there a written description of her worm form?
Ooh, strong start.
Because, as with all things,
what if it can impersonate a human down to like pregnancy? Like, just draw a human, you're fine.
Well, and like I said, for most of the series, she does look just like a human teenager. And then she awakens her worm form. See, that doesn't have a description.
Remember, kids, you too can awaken your inner worm.
Yeah, she gets attacked by a bunch of enemy worms and then evolves into her true form.
Can you imagine that? Like, just like a sort of cartoon montage of like kids. Sort of, we all have secret hidden powers, and we need to awaken them at a time of peril. And then, like a monster attacks, like I will transform into the form of an eagle, and I will transform into a fire ape. I was like, what am I going to transform into? Pfft, worm.
That's pretty much what I'm doing.
There's the personality section.
Likes dirt.
Likes crushed up Oreos.
Oh, so apparently her name as a worm. So, like I said, her alter ego name is Sisera Worm, and apparently Sisera comes from that means butterfly, which makes sense seeing what her form looks like.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Kiro. Hope you had a nice dinner.
So there we go. Human girl turns into bug. Name means butterfly.
Yes, this is worm girl.
Oh, and this is from Kamen Rider Kabuto. And Kabuto is another type of insect, so
Oh, it is, yes.
all sorts of insects up in here.
I don't know what you missed.
Like I said, very soap opera-y.
I think in the meantime, you missed Love Elf, couple of raccoons. I don't know what you last
One
saw.
raccoon repeated twice.
Yeah, which to be fair is it's accurate to the source material.
That is true.
Yeah, that's I thought really did think the Courage the Cowardly Dog wiki would have more weird stuff.
I mean, I'm sure it does, but you were randomly going through it. So.
Yeah, like.
And there are plenty of things that it's just like, this is just an animal. It's just doing shenanigans.
Yeah.
That are present in Courage. So
that's fair.
Like I said, there's one episode I remember where literally the ending plot of it is that the fox runs away with her like rabbit girlfriend who's being abused by whatever other animal, and it's like, what the heck just happened here?
That sounds like a happy ending. Yeah. So, for some reason, whenever I think about Courage, I just remember there was an episode where everyone was hypnotized to eat flan, and I don't know. That just keeps popping into my head every now and then, and I'm like, really? What? Why? Did people just hypnotized to constantly eat flan?
I mean, I'm not even quite sure why you'd need to hypnotize people to eat flan. I mean, unless you were someone who, like, the texture just really set you off.
I think it was like a kind of like. Part of me wants to say it was like to sell flan, like as a hypnotize people into coming to buy it.
Sense.
But it's also Courage, so it might not be. That makes sense for any other cartoon, but Courage. There's probably something weird underneath it all.
That's true.
I'm gonna actually. I have the wiki here. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh God. Got a huge S on the torso.
Yeah, a wormy S.
It's a worm.
What was their name?
It is a worm.
A wormy S.
Her name. Okay, so her human name is Hirori. Her superhero name, I guess, is Sisra.
Yeah.
Oh, it fits. Great.
Yeah, so the S is now a worm.
How's her human hair look like?
The image I have of her, she's got sort of longer, well, little past the.
Okay.
Oh, this one she's got a. No, that's a different character. Never mind. Yeah, so she's got bangs, and the rest of her hair is a bit past her shoulders, around her armpit. Oh, and she's wearing a very cute shirt there.
It doesn't specify that he's the person who's doing the hypnotizing wants to make money. Oh, apparently the character who wants people to eat flan, their likes are becoming the king of flan and living in a flantasy world. What it says.
Grown.
Thank you, Wiki.
Fantasy. God. God. How much you want to bet that was the joke in the original show too?
Yeah, you never know.
That's the whole premise of the episode.
I had to make like 26 episodes a year.
Right.
I don't know why that one just stuck in my head as being particularly strange.
I mean, yeah, that
But,
makes sense to me.
there were a lot of other like more surreal ones, but that one just like I don't know something about it. Just hypnotizing everyone to eat flan. Oh, there we go. We've got something going on here.
I have the idea of screaming to the heavens with, that pose and the arms, but worms.
Okay.
And now I'm kind of regretting it.
That's a sign of a good drawing.
I will say that she does have these sort of gauntlet-y things around her arms and hands, so, might as well
Look,
go with it.
they were limited by what they could find at the costume shop. Christie's limited by her imagination.
Ooh, that's not good.
I mean, her worm form is actually pretty neat looking. The feet, I have a few questions about what they decided to do with the feet, but the rest of it's pretty neat.
I mean,
it's actually sort of interesting because you know how in some things it's like, oh, we've got the female supporting character who's now become one of the heroes, and it's like, we have this like monstrous form, and it's just like tits. That is not what happened here. It's definitely like sleeker and more feminine than some of the other worm designs I've seen.
Some of the many worm designs.
But it is not. Well, yeah. I am sort of semi-familiar with Kabuto, so yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's feminine, but they didn't decide to put tits on a beetle, which is appreciated.
That's nice. I'm sure someone has, but not today.
Yeah, I'm sure someone has, but not this one. Not in this case, no.
Yeah, this got more horrific.
You don't like her?
I wouldn't say that. I would just be, I would be startled if I stumbled upon this person in a restaurant or something,
Now, this looks like it might be from a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode. Just person walks in and suddenly their hands are worms.
That is a couragey thing. How have we managed to get more couragey things from wikis that aren't courage?
Determination.
The wiki gods. They taketh away with one hand, and then they run.
Good old RNGesus.
Now, do I want? No, I don't. That's too hard.
That was a quick decision.
Yep.
Do I want? No.
I just do not have the skills today. So she's behind the table.
It's fair. Like school age doing exams, it's fine. Just in the middle of an exam, this happens. So not now.
She's just that stressed over her qualifiers, and so suddenly worms. I mean, I know I felt like I had worms for brains when I took my qualifiers for grad school, but not exactly worms for hands.
As someone who has done exam invigilation before, like, I would not know what to do if I saw this in an exam hall.
That's fair. That's just like there's no protocol for suddenly worm hands.
Oh yeah, the raccoons have portal eyes. That's the point. The oranges and the blues. It now looks like she's just doing the splits.
Oh my goodness. It does.
Or like they do like a cheerleader sort of jump thing. And the pom-poms flew off and just revealed worms.
She done.
Either way, it's an impressive ability.
So, yeah, that's. I mean, I've had students where it's just kind of like, you need to leave the room or you're late or whatever because of like medical reasons, but I don't know where this falls in that category.
Yeah,
Like I had one student who apparently they had like narcolepsy or something related to that. They usually refer to this stuff as like, I had a nap attack, and it's like that's an adorable way to refer to that. But also, I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So on final exam day, had a nap attack right before the final, and was like, "Oh no, can I come in?" It's like, "Yes, you're fine. Just here's where we are. If you need more time afterwards, I will sit with you. That's fine." It's just kind of like, "Oh no, final exam." Oh,
Yeah, I think
that's pretty great though.
I would be inclined to categorize this under some sort of medical emergency. I think there's
I
probably
think she'd be excused from the exam.
yeah. I think at the very least they should be allowed a retake. Like,
Yeah, like she can come back once her fingers return.
yeah,
I don't think she's holding a pen like that. Or if
yeah.
she is, she's not going to be holding it very well.
Possibly extra time just to make up for that.
And now we've got
Well, I am
dramatic
done.
lines. All right. So I'm going to show a couple of pictures because, again, Kamen Rider has multiple forms. So this is what she looks like as a human person.
The hair's pretty similar.
Yay!
This is what she looks like as. Paste that in there.
Ooh. Okay.
I heard worm.
And yes, you did hear worm, and that is what they're called, but they do look more like beetles.
This has got some 70s Doctor Who vibes going on here.
And this is one of the concept arts that you can see some more of the details with. So yeah, like I said, one of the I find it interesting that, like I said, instead of making her like, this is like sexy monster, it's just like it's definitely sleek, but that is a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a bug with armor and claws and wings with claws at the ends of them.
That's a cool
And
design sheet.
I mean, it's really neat. I mean, the crotch area is a little odd, but I'm sure that's also partially because
that as well.
Yeah, I think that's partially because to me, from like a costume perspective, it makes sense because you've got the same thing going on around her shoulders and elbows as well. And I'm sure it's like, okay, this is a character that's going to be reoccurring. This actor is going to be wearing this costume a lot. We need to make it so that things can move, because you can sort of see, it's hard to see from the front, but the backs of the knees have that same thing as well. So it's like, we want to make sure the major areas where this person is going to be bending and turning aren't obstructed by like rubber suit. So the fingers around the shoulders and armpits, the backs of the knees, the elbow, and then the waist, and then that spot where the legs attach to the crotch area. That way they're able to bend more easily. Yeah. So this makes sense considering it's a costume that an actual human person is wearing.
But they could also just have left that patch out.
Yeah, the patch probably shouldn't have been there, but the around it bits, that sort of makes sense to me.
I mean, it's got
I think that it kind of makes sense in the concept art, but no.
As it's got a sort of suit of armor vibe. I've just pulled up a suit of armor that's got a bit of metal there with a sort of gap around for flexibility. So
I think the shape is just unfortunate.
Yeah.
These things. Well, it's unfortunate, or it comes from a time when that sort of thing wasn't considered quite so weird. Because I listened to Jethro Tull, and they had a codpiece era. These things happen.
This was from God. When was Kabuto produced? It's one of the more recent ones. Because, like I said, this is a thing that's been going on from the 70s. Kabuto was 2006.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the 1970s then.
Yeah, not the 19.
Well, you try and come up with an explanation. Right, should we do our all at the same time?
B.
Finish doodle. Blep, blep.
See, but now we have to figure out who's going to who, because now everyone's given someone to someone. So now someone's going to get something twice.
Yeah.
Or
Um.
which is fine. We just have to figure out which direction we want to go.
It's an envelope.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know who wants to go where. Who's likely to get something that's long rather than tall?
If I'm drawing someone in splits again.
I guess.
Well, the Kamen Riders are mostly human-shaped things on account of the fact that it's human actors playing them. So whoever is getting a Kamen Rider is going to need to be in the bottom, probably.
Which is likely to be human characters as well. So whoever's getting my wiki can go on up top.
All right. So which direction are we going?
Should we go the way we did the first time?
Sure.
Which means I'm giving Christi, I think, a prompt. And
all right. So I guess that means Christi is getting the top.
Cool. So I get a prompt from Ragdoll. I'll go in bottom right as I always do. Oh, I'm writing Ragdoll. That's not helpful. Righty ho, let's get something for Christi to do. Random page. One of these is going to be a character and not an episode. That's the same page as the last random one I drew.
Whoops.
Stop giving me the same pages. Now. Where are all? There's just a page called Armadillo and it has nothing on it.
Ooh, I want to draw an armadillo.
Nope, you're drawing Jean Bon.
Jean Bond.
Jean Bon.
Jean Bond. Oh my goodness.
Jean Bon.
Is it a pair of jeans?
No.
I wouldn't put it past the show though.
No, it is a pig butcher. By which I mean a butcher who is a pig.
There are so many layers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay then.
Who's
saying next?
You give a prompt to Ragdoll, I think, and I get one from Ragdoll.
Okay, because I don't think I need any more information than that.
It's pretty. You've probably got the idea.
Yeah. Ragdoll, you have Bernard Lorido.
Okay.
He is
just another person.
Yep. He is a human commandant. Let's see. It doesn't say here, but I remember from the game. He's a pretty bad person. Looks kind of sloppy. He's bald and a bit chubby. Let's see. And he's kind of a, if not bounty hunter, kind of a treasure hunter, kind of what's it called? Like a thug. A thug.
Okay, so I get to draw a sloppy thug with no hair.
Yep.
Cool. Nice. All right, let's see.
To be fair, I drew a character with no hair and they had a lot of hair. Apparently,
okay,
Jean Bon's name is a pun on jambon, which means ham in French.
Oh.
That's fun. Okay. So, Chris, you got someone who is not a bug. You've got someone human name Kaganari, and their alternate identity is Kamen Rider
Sorry, what was that you cut out?
Kamen Rider Fuma, who's a
Fuma.
ninja. Like his default form is literally called Ninja Gamer.
Ninja Gamer. Okay.
Yes.
That's. Am I going to draw popular Twitch sensation ninja or?
I mean, if you want to.
Nah, I'm alright.
Oh god, he has the ability to summon ninja players in order to swarm his enemies.
Yeah,
So
okay. So definitely a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, and this is from Kamen Rider X. So that's fun times. All right.
Okay.
Do you want more, or do you think you have an idea?
I have enough to draw a thing. I'm going to try and work out how to make this feel more Kamen Rider-esque. But, more sort of, I guess, more padded panels on the clothes.
All right. Now I get to draw a thug. Oh, and just another thing for added personality. He starts the series as an anti-villain and later becomes an ally.
That sounds okay. Cool. That matches up with, like, you know, Shadow or whatever. There are a lot of ninjas that are sort of like, oh, they're a mercenary and they'll fight against the enemy, but they're not here for you. And then as the time goes on, they get attached.
Draw really.
I like how my brain said, okay, draw a game controller. I was like, okay, I'll draw a game controller, and I've drawn NES controllers. Like, yeah, that's definitely what they look like now. I never even used an NES.
I like the NES controllers.
Haven't you?
They're nice and simple.
Some
of the newer controllers, it's like buttons all over the place, and it's like, I only have 2 thumbs. What do you expect of me?
You say that. That's 2 console generations of Nintendo. It went from the NES to the N64 controller. And that's got... I don't even know how you would use an N64 controller. Again, I didn't, because I didn't have one. But no, my first console was a Super Nintendo.
God, NES was the one that had the weird 3-prong thing where it's just kind of like, who was this made for?
Yeah, it's got hasn't it got like a joystick in the middle or something?
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. Someone designed this and someone did a bad job.
I think this is.
I mean, it's definitely distinctive.
Yeah.
But distinctive does not make usable.
Yeah, distinctive and usability don't necessarily go together. But this was in a time... Well, I guess the PlayStation was out by that point. No, was it? No, the N64 came out first, didn't it? Well, no, they had the Super Nintendo. That's got a better controller than the N64. So they have no excuse. I mean, yes, they had to try and work out analog sticks, but still.
I mean, at least they sort of figured it out by the time they got the GameCube.
Yeah, I seem to remember GameCube controller was fine.
Trying to draw muscly arms, but I don't know how to draw muscly arms.
Me neither.
Lots of lamps, alternating if at all possible.
Yeah, but it's a question of where do the lamps start and end? Because the thing I always find is it's like, okay, I try and draw a thing, and it's like, that's not how arm proportions work. So I have to like look down at my body and go, right, where does the elbow go?
Don't think you ever used the leftmost controls in all the years you played N64. Well, that's great. Not only is it fiddly, it's redundant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure there's some games that use it, because I know with the controller that I use when I'm playing on my laptop, I don't always use all the buttons for every single game, but that's just sort of how controllers work. Some games use buttons that other games do not. God, I think I've made his arms now too big for his torso.
Do not worry about drawing bad arms. Because if you have to worry about it, then I have to worry about it. So, unnecessary padding. Got that.
I mean, fortunately, at the very least, Christi did say this guy is bald, so I don't have to worry about hair. I can just give him a round head and be done with it. Although it does mean that I have to figure out what's going on with his ears. Yeah, that is true. I think the only time I ever really used the D-pad... D-pad had some uses in the Pokemon Stadium game, but beyond that... It's just a very questionable design choice.
Yeah,
It's getting annoying. I'm just having. Oh, sorry.
No, that's right. Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
Part of the program. Really all just kind of
The whole time of drawing this, I've just had the. And it just keeps repeating.
I was watching someone play the N64 GoldenEye yesterday, actually. And yeah, every track in that game is just a variation on that motif, so it just gets stuck in your head immediately.
Oh boy.
His fists look sort of like weird, lumpy meatballs. But you know what? We'll just stick with that.
Surely that should be the pig butcher. Also, I read the description of the butcher. Turns out they're also not a villain.
Oh.
They're misunderstood as well.
You did say something about, was it the name that I thought by immediately?
The
oh
name,
yeah, Gene Bond.
Yeah, Gene Bond. There's a play on Jambon. Means ham. Sorry, my brain is just melting.
We're all concentrating on drawing right now.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't do a very good pose for this, but I have managed to fit the codpiece in there somehow. Need a codpiece, apparently.
Ninja with a codpiece.
Yep.
I need a codpiece.
I don't think that's quite how that song goes. I need a codpiece. I'm holding up for a codpiece till the...
It's not how the version you're used to goes.
Exactly.
I'm going to change the end of Shrek.
Get some sort of abs in here. We're just going to make him shirtless. Why not?
Where'd that come from? Erase.
Give him a sword. Probably got a sword of some sort.
Hey.
That way Geralt can beat him up dramatically.
Yeah.
What have I drawn?
See, one of the funny things about the Witcher games, at least, is because narrative-wise, we have this narrative because it's sort of pulling over from the novels that, like, for the most part, monsters aren't much of a thing anymore. So that's part of the reason why in the Witcher books, like, there's not very many Witchers around and not much need to make more, because it's like, oh, monsters aren't that much of a thing anymore. And then in the video games, it's like every time you walk into a new area, you get accosted by like harpies.
Yeah. Boom, monster. The
It's like, yeah,
narrative
monsters
is
aren't
still the same though.
good old dissonance between narrative and video game mechanics.
Yeah.
What do I want to do with this gentleman's face?
He's sleazy.
I think I'm right in saying that this is the second ninja I've done for these streams.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, it was the Sentai one, wasn't it, actually?
It was the tape ninja, wasn't it?
Yeah. Pretty sure that was for Sentai.
The one you drew was the weird amalgam of like Joan of Arc, Billy the Kid, and Dracula.
Oh, I remember that.
You'd think I'd remember that. Somehow I don't.
Yeah, it looked like something from Bloodborne in the end. Also, did I mention this on stream yesterday? I found out yesterday that Dracula, canonically in the original Bram Stoker story, Dracula has a white moustache.
A white mustache.
Yeah.
What about the hair then?
Don't know. I just found it interesting he had a moustache. Yeah, one day I'll get around to reading that.
Yeah, me too.
I do have it. I bought all of the sort of classic horror books a while back, all the Frankensteins and Dr. Jekylls and whatnot. And I think that's the only one I didn't read.
Oh, I've got the selection turned on again. Okay, there we go. Tried to draw in eyes and nothing happened, and it's like, oh no, where's the pixel?
Yeah, that happens. That's happened twice, I think, today for me.
I've actually been so good with that tool today.
Yeah. Good to know someone's learning.
Well, I think I'm done.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
And then do that thing. Because
Somehow made his shoulder area, like upper shoulder area, just way too big for the rest of his body. And see if we can move that down a bit. Okay.
Actually, I want to add something.
it's alright, there's no major rush. Yeah, I don't know what sort of weird clothing this character's wearing. Meant to be baggy, but it kind of looks like they're just in a bin bag full of cornflakes.
In a bin bag full of cornflakes.
Yeah.
That's so weirdly specific.
Wasn't the look I was going for, but you know. Needs must as the cornflakes drive.
Oh, come on, go away. Still don't know how to get these selection tools to go away.
Be very, very careful.
The only thing I've managed to do that seems to work is using the selection tool and just sort of tapping on an area.
Yep.
And then it sort of eventually goes away.
That's my plan. My tactic.
Okay. That looks a little better now that I've moved his head down.
It's always a good sign for UI when doing what is presumably the intended solution feels like a workaround. Yeah, I might want to spend a little bit more time on that one, maybe.
Okay. I think mine's done too.
Yep, okay, we'll go with
it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
So it started off with Ninja
Wow.
and then thought, what can I add to make it ridiculous? So we have the codpiece,
I mean,
big shoes, tall head. Both of the examples have had tall heads so far.
oh, that's
There should have been a chain connecting the controllers, really, a sort of nunchuck style. But yeah. Also, I did hashtag assemble as a kind of. You said it can assemble other people, gamers, or whatever it was. So I thought the hashtag
it has the ability summon. Yeah, it has the ability to summon several ninja players in order to swarm his enemies.
Marvelous. That's that hashtag assemble. And then we also have. I like the way they're climbing up the border. I like that.
Yay. I forgot it was supposed to be a butcher, so I added an apron.
That's fair. That's how you would
But
do a
otherwise,
butcher.
it's just Agent Pig.
Just Agent Pig. And then we have Strong Baldman.
His torso now makes a bit more sense now that I've moved his head down.
Anatomy usually is immeasurably helped by selecting things and dragging them until they look right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, so let's share the originals. Here is Gene Bomb.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, his teeth.
I remember that dude.
Now this is the point where we kind of goes like, are you just really messy eating your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Apparently they're making sculptures out of beef. I don't know if that's related, but...
Oh, the eyes are yellow and everything. Mine's cuter.
Yeah.
Looks tired.
Just a bald, just a very tired bald. Mine looks clear.
Just the sleazy stuff.
Yours looks much more like they're up for adventure. This guy looks like they're up for a nap.
Yeah. They're determined. He's just,
He's determined. This person is fully determined. Well, much too much termin. Just full of termin. And Ninja, hashtag assemble Ninja. What are their name? I'm terrible at remembering these names.
So
usually two pictures.
Here is Kaganari without his uniform. Apparently,
I like that suit.
Yeah, so he's an anti-villain, the anti-hero type thing, or anti-villain. So apparently part of the reason he's doing these nefarious things is to try and do something to save his daughter, which that always ends up in lovely places where nothing goes wrong ever. And this is what he looks like suited up.
Fun. It looks like he's about to shoot some Nerf guns.
Yeah. And then you've got that entirely ridiculous belt.
Yeah, did they steal that from a 10-year-old?
I mean, considering that these shows are geared towards like 10, 12-year-olds, and some of the design choices are designed in such a way where it's like we can make a toy out of this, yeah.
This
think
does
we
This is one of
found
those
the
things where it's
toy.
like not wrong.
this does feel like that this entire costume was designed in the same way that like sports trainers are sort of sports sneakers, I guess. Are designed. It's
Oh,
got that sort of aesthetic.
yeah. I mean, without the belt, there's something going on, except for the whole. If the
Yep.
nerf aesthetic was taken out of it, if you look at it from far away, it's kind of dope.
What a compliment. You know what? If I look at this from far away, I quite like it. Thanks.
I mean, like the fact that the belt thing is sort of yellow, that's fine. But the fact that there on the left, you've got this like, it looks almost sort of like those poles that you see on like, I don't know, parachutes or something. It's like, I don't know what that handle thing is, and it's confusing me.
It looks
It
like the new, hey kids, buy the new Bop It belt. Like,
Yep.
it's got lots of
Puppet
weird bits
belt
and
now with integrated Nerf gun.
yeah. Now you can bop your friends from a distance.
He doesn't look very villainy.
Well, he's not really, is he? He's an anti-villain / ally.
Yes, anti-villain who's who cooperates with the actual villain, Machina Vision, to transfer humans into virtual reality to save his heavily ill daughter. How this is going to save her, I don't know. I have a feeling shenanigans are going to be involved, and it's like,
Shenanigans.
He's done wrong. Which is...
I've never heard the phrase heavily ill. I just got this image of like a massive cold bacteria or something just smothering the face or something. A cold virus wouldn't be a bacteria. Anyway, I watched Ozzy and Drix. I know how biology works. Does Ozzy and Drix, do they have
Oh yeah,
a Wikipedia?
I love Ozzy and Drix.
I mean, they might. There was a TV show for it, so it's more than just a movie.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a movie. I just watched the TV show.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, well then. Okay. There was a movie that the idea was originally based off of.
Oh.
The movie, if I remember correctly, has a bit of a higher rating than the kids' TV show. So maybe watch out for that.
Well, it doesn't have many pages, and a lot of them don't have pictures, which is not ideal. But the ones that do have pictures do look pretty good. Well, there you go.
Character designs were really fun in that.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. They did some, and there's a lot of like really subtle details for like the slight differences between the different kinds of cells. So, like with the police officers, a lot of them are immune system cells, but there's a couple of them that are like muscle cells or whatnot, and there's like just slight differences in design when you just kind of see, oh, characters like this are muscle cells versus blood vessels or whatnot. It's kind of, what did you find?
Why?
That's not Ozzy and Drix. I don't remember that at all.
I'm sorry, that just popped out.
Yeah, no. Well, and the thing is, I know what show that's based off of, and that show, it's the show that image is from and edited from is also very weird. Because basically, yeah. And it's always funny whenever that comes on. So my dad is retired Navy, so I don't think he ever directly worked with NCIS, but is aware of like their actual goings on. And the original NCIS, it's like, okay. But with this one, the NCIS Los Angeles, a lot of the episodes sort of devolve into like secret agenty territory, and then it's like, all right, we're done. No.
That's fair. Fine. All I have to add to that discussion is that my mum likes watching procedural stuff, and she always refers to NCIS as NCSI because she gets mixed up between CSI and NCIS. That's
It's
all
the
You know, the fun thing is that joke was actually made in the show at one.
Oh, was
In the original NCIS, one of the episodes. So they're going out, and I don't remember the context of like what was happening in the episode, but I remember one of the agents when they were doing their investigation stuff ended up showing up at like a Halloween party to go interview a person, and someone at the Halloween party was just kind of like, "What are you, like, a CSI investigator? Just your name is spelt weird." And it's like, no, I'm not here for the party. I'm here to talk to a person.
Marvelous. Well, I think that we know how we must end.
Yeah.
yay.
Turn everything on. Oh, that's. Oh no, that.
Oh my goodness, the face
Worm-
in the middle. Horrifying.
Worm Girl's face on the chicken is quite scary.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh, doggy got the tail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jump.
Creepy doggy got the tail.
Yeah, and my neverhood person's just looking up at the chicken going, why?
Why not?
Does this? Right, thank you very much for doodling with me and having good wikis and such.
You too. What's fun?
Yeah,
Yes, always fun.
always fun.
And next time we will pull more wikis and hopefully not randomly roll unidentified life form suppressing special gas bombs that have no pictures.
As you can remember that sentence.
It's impressive. I have somehow managed to come away from this with
I'm
more
mainly
wikis than I started.
Like, hey, it means we have more things to work with.
Yeah.
And now we can extend out even longer how long it will take before we have to start reusing it.
Yeah, exactly. We need to do a SCP special at some point. I think it might be fun if we could do an SCP special with like as many people as possible. Just try and have like 2 people drawing the same thing at once or something. I don't know.
Chaos.
That's a chaos.
Yeah, cut the canvas in half, have one person drawing on one side, the other person drawing on the other, and then you zoom out and see the difference.
That'd be nice. Yeah, so thank you very much. I will end the stream now. Yeah, thank you. I will now have to deafen you, I have to deafen myself and mute me. It's a bit of a weird thing to say, isn't it? Somebody is going to be deafened. I guess it's just ear muting. It's probably the better way of saying it. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, well, thank you very much for watching. Yeah. It's fun. We'll keep doing these on Sundays because they're a good time. As ever, anyone who is in the Discord is welcome to join. If you want to doodle along, if you've got a wiki, come join. Why not? We always run over anyway. We can have many people doing many draws. Yeah. So the next stream, I guess, is Tuesday. Carry on with 16 symbols. I think we have to design another new character, don't we? Or, well, no, someone joins. They don't necessarily have to be new, but they probably are. I haven't planned, so it's fine. We'll work it out on the time. You have a good evening. Thank you for coming along. I hope you had a good dinner and whatnot. Yes, so I will... Yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday. Anything else I need to say? Not really. No. Again, a quick reminder that Saturday is either going to be no stream or a later short stream, depending on how the jab goes. Yeah, and other than that, have a wonderful week. Hope it's a good one. Hope you look after yourself and all that good stuff, and do something nice. Start the week off well. Get a milkshake or something. Have a good. Yeah, music. I always forget music. only been doing this for almost 3 years. Yeah, sure. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Particularly Kiro, because Kiro is here. And also everyone else, who may or may not be here. Yeah. I'm gonna shut up now. Goodbye! Bye. No, you!